Oh, we're live. I was about to say it's really slow, like loading.
We are live.
We are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my human design journey. I just want to come and find you in the chat, and I can tag everyone because you are definitely what you will want to see what we're going to talk about today. Jules, Kelly, welcome to the room. Welcome to the
Thank you, my
spotlight.
love.
I feel like I need to do like a round of applause or something. Like,
I feel like a Mexican wave.
We're just doing it at the same time, though.
Yeah. that just sums us up together, doesn't it?
Okay, let me come and tag everyone, and then we're going to get into this, because one of the things that I'm most excited about sharing with everybody in the human design community is how to understand your human design, but also how to embody it. And I think sometimes we can get really caught up in the, how does this work? When is it going to work for me? What is it that I'm actually going to see on the other side? And also, why is this such a shit show sometimes when we're going through the embodiment journey? And so it was my intention to bring really wonderful people who've already gone through that journey and are still in the journey, because we're always still in the journey, to show you how it works and what's in it for you, what's on the other side, so that you can really step into it as well. So Jules is incredible. I mean, there's just so much magic about Jules and her journey and what she's overcome and what she's creating in the world. And Jules is a 5/1 emotional manifesting generator. And everything is defined apart from your G center, right?
Spot on. Yeah.
Amazing. So let's go straight into, tell me a little bit about what is it that drew to human design in the first place? How did that all start for you?
So, I think I found human design human design found me maybe about 3 years ago to start with. And I, obviously as an MG, I'm doing all of the things. Yeah. And at the time I was on my way back from a dark place. Excuse me, my throat's bad. It's nothing to do with my throat chakra or my throat center. It's just got a frog in my throat. I know.
All is good. All is good.
And I was on this journey of trying to find all of the answers to everything. Why is this happening to me? Why have I been through this? There has to be a reason. That I cannot have been through this whole process for no reason. And it was almost like looking for all of the answers, right? And then I found my human design, and I've downloaded a chart. And what really, really blew me away was that my design was created in January 1970, and I was born in April 1970, and I was then living my life purpose. And how the hell did somebody know that, or did this thing know that X amount of years ago, a lot of years ago? Like, I'm 50. How old am I now? 53. I'm 54 this year, which is bloody ridiculous. And this can't be fluke. It can't be. There's got to be something behind it. So then, as a one energy, I have to go in deep, baby. So
all the way into the rabbit hole,
all the way down. And then I found so many different people talking about it and different ways of expressing certain bits of it. And having been in a really dark and negative place, I wanted it to be, I guess, an empowered journey. And that's not to make it, that's not like toxic positivity. I just want everything to be shiny, but it's about, right, how can I learn this from a positive standpoint? Mm-hmm. Because otherwise, what's it there for?
Yeah.
And then somewhere down the line, and I don't even know how, but I found you, or you found me.
It's the way it works, right?
Yeah, and I think for the way that you share human design and the way that you deliver it comes from a really, really empowered place. Mm-hmm. And I think that obviously I've been with you, I don't even know how many months I've been working with you now, but from that whole time, It is a journey, and it isn't all over, and it does continue beyond the program. It's owning the knowledge, being custodians of a theory, and the delivery of that theory from the point of view that it's going to empower people, and not scare them and not disempower them. And I think that's what it was. And your teaching style worked for me as a one. I just wanted all the energy, all the information, and you provided that in a gorgeous way. So that's kind of where it started. That's where the hook was. Hook, line and sinker.
So tell me a little bit about, so I love all of that and how you've shared about, you know, it's an ongoing journey where we're always going to be embodying. I mean, one of the methodologies that I use is the Ho'oponopono. And it's like, you know, it's called cleaning, and you're going to be cleaning until the day you die. And I feel like it's the same with embodiment, because there's always more, there's always depth, there's always layers. And I want to talk a little bit about your embodiment journey, because from understanding it to living it, there's two very different things, right?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your experience with that.
So as a learner, as a one energy that just wants to learn the stuff, right? If you're a one energy, or if you just want to learn the stuff and not do anything with it, don't bother, right? Don't, because it's no point. It's like going to paying for a gym membership, not going to the gym and expecting a six-pack. It's not going to happen.
Well, actually, I would say it's even worse than that, because it's filling your head with stuff that you're not going to do anything with. So it's taking away.
Yeah. And it's just then, yes, it doesn't work. Anyway, so the empowerment journey, I think one of the biggest things for me is, because I was always learning, sometimes I believe where I was on this validation process, validating myself for the outside world. So from the work that I've done over the past however many years, 7 years, I discovered that I was here. I'm here to do a job. I know that. I'm here to serve a purpose greater than myself. But I learned that when I was about 2 or 3, there was an incident that happened that made me not feel worthy of attention. And I was just writing a post about it, actually. I've not finished it yet. And my role model in life is my mum, right? And she is the biggest, hardest working, beautiful human ever. But she's a projector. She shouldn't be working that hard. And I just said should, apologies. She is conditioned to work hard because she was brought up by parents that were born in the 20s, and they were brought up into a poor farming community where actually that was just the way it was. So she taught me some wonderful things, my mum, but she taught me what she knew. And I think this whole process of embodiment is almost unlearning some of the stuff and accepting that some of the stuff, not only does it not work for today's society because society's evolved, but also it doesn't necessarily work for me or you as individuals that are listening. And actually having the time and the space and the courage to go, actually, no, that doesn't actually work for me. You know, and I think the embodiment piece, the biggest thing, there are a couple of things that you picked up on straight away was, and I kind of knew, but what I didn't know was how to go about changing that, was I am a really capable, successful, able woman who has not relied on anybody. And so, but because of that, I live my life in the masculine. I'm the doer. I'm the doer until you fall over and break down and burn out. What I don't do well, or I haven't done well in the past, and you spotted it straight away, was to step into the feminine. And I guess the embodiment process is also about, I think that you taught me, and then I now teach others, is that it's a spectrum, right? There's different levels of it. And with some of the embodiment work, you're not going to go from here to there overnight. There's there's a sliding scale of that spectrum. So again, if you're going to be comfortable being really sick, which I was, then I've got to be also comfortable being really well, and vice versa. And if I'm going to be comfortable being very wealthy, I've also got to be comfortable with having nothing. It's all that whole spectrum, and understanding that spectrum, and understanding that there really isn't a right or a wrong, but there is a balance and a place that you end up in. Not end up in, because it's an ongoing thing, but it moves all of the time.
Yeah.
And the embodiment process for me, I mean, I've been through it once with you, and now we're going through it again with our cohort, and still we're bringing up and the transformation or the shifts that are happening, even with people that feel like they've already done the work, you know, like that they already feel like they're up there in terms of expansion, and still things are happening. And like you say, it's this clearing out all of the time. It's this uncovering all of the time, and knowing that you're doing it to be able to, because you and one of our mottos is you've got one life and two choices. Yeah. And staying where you are is a choice, and sometimes embodiment can be really, really uncomfortable. And I think that's the thing that you taught me. It's like, once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. You're like, oh, do you, Sherry? We've got
But it's like I always say, everyone wants alignment until they get it, because when you get alignment, you have to step in and do those things that take courage, and it throws everything into a kind of chaotic spin in a way.
Yeah, and
but it's
literally, yeah, all of that, and then going against everything that you've ever been taught.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, why not just go for that? Sounds great.
Yeah.
And actually, it is great. It is absolutely great when it comes from an empowered place, and you are supported by great people, and
of course
you look after yourself. I mean, that's really important to me.
What is it that you have found has been the biggest shift for you in understanding about being a manifesting generator? So I know you're talking about the masculine and feminine energetics, but I'm more curious about, you know, discovering the MG vibes.
So I have always been a busy onion, and always, and I think when I've looked at our family dynamic, even, you know, when you look at it on a closer level, I get told all the time, are you watching this? Are you listening to me? Are you doing that? And I'm going, yeah, but I can do 17 things at once.
Yeah.
and again, so yeah, so like I've got two screens here and a laptop. That's Manny Gen vibes. And before, people always think, you start all these things, Jules, but I don't understand how they come together. And neither did I. But knowing now what I know, it's all perfect. And it does all come together. And people say to me, I thought you worked with essential oils. Yeah, I do. Because you don't have to just do one thing. I can do it all, and it all comes together. But at the time, none of it seems to make sense to anybody else. But it's not supposed to.
Does it make sense to you when you're in it?
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
So there's that inner knowing of knowing that something's good. And the other thing is, a big lesson for me was, as a Manny Gen and as a 5, I can do all of the things. I can help all of the people, but it doesn't mean I have to. And that's one of the massive learnings for me. And whilst we were in our on our learning journey, I have been through quite a lot, or as a family, we've been through quite a lot. And the one thing that you said to me is, I know you can do it, Jules, but do you want to? And almost there isn't a want, it was more of an obligation. And again, understanding that obligation is also a should.
Yeah.
And that's quite a hard one to break.
It can be really challenging when it comes to family and relationships and the dynamics that have been there for a long time.
Yeah.
It can be really challenging in those situations.
Yeah. And I think for Manny Gen as well, I think what I found is, because I do jump around for lots of different things, from a business point of view, the messaging can be a little bit all over the place, because I am doing there's lots of different elements to the work that we do. And so it's almost like trying to stick that in a box, which I find quite tricky.
Right. And when we go back to the business for MGs, it's either one message or one soulmate client, right? And then the rest becomes the liberation with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me a little bit more about what has changed in your life, in your business, in your reality, because of the embodiment of your human design.
So much. If I start with the home life, first of all, by me stepping into expansion has meant that I've shown up differently at home. I have stronger boundaries, which has meant for my family that they either have to come on for the ride or not, right? And so that's one of the things. The other thing that human design has helped us with massively is parenting. And like you, I've got a manifestor babe, and understanding the differences of what's going on has really helped us with navigating that journey. What else has changed? Just speaking my truth.
Yeah.
And from an embodiment point of view, and because of my learning and because of the discernment and because of we're all really different, right? So all of our journeys are different. So our discernment's going to be slightly different. And because you don't want to upset people, or because you don't want to be thought of not good enough, or because, and all of those different filters our throat goes through, a lot of the time I've said nothing. Mm-hmm. And so actually me vocalizing and stepping into an empowered throat has been a bit of a wake-up call for lots of people, especially those around me. And you know what I think really as well, it's not a bad thing. So for me, the thought was I was going to upset people, I was going to do that, I was going to let people down. But actually, no, it creates new boundaries, and it creates clarity, and it creates a level of understanding that wasn't there before. And it hasn't had any real negative impact. I would say more positive.
Yeah.
Because there's no room for, oh, I thought you were in a mood, or I thought, whatever it is. It's just a case of, well, this is how I feel, and this is what I'm going to speak about.
Right.
And how's it shown up in work? I only do what lights me up.
Yeah.
So in the work stuff, literally, we've turned down jobs, we've turned down contracts because we did this really big one for the NHS about a year ago now. And we are really passionate about transformation and seeing transformation. And we're not here for the tick boxes. Like the people that just want to tick the boxes. We're not here for it. So we got paid really well to do this day, and we were absolutely exhausted. And I came out of it and I said to Claire, did that light you up? And she went, bits of it. And I said, well, it drained the living daylights out of me, so we're not doing it again. Like that just wouldn't be heard of before, because you think, oh, it's good money. It wasn't that, it was only a day. No.
I love that. So Claire's your partner in your business, and she's a generator, right?
She's a 3-5 sacral generator.
Right. So all of that sacral energy, if it's not lit up for both of you, then it's
it was like wading through treacle. It was like, oh, hello. So yeah, so there are the main things, I think. And again, with work as well, because Claire is a generator, and she can only, like, she'll say to me, you're jet skiing. And I go, that's fine. You go off and do your thing then, that's holding me back from jet skiing, because I can then go and do lots of different things.
Yeah.
Oh, we found a way.
Exactly. And that's super important too, because that's another kind of relationship, like you were saying about the parenting, but having that understanding of yourself, but also of the other in a business relationship is really potent as well.
Yeah, and again, the whole stepping into this embodied thing. It's like this week, Claire's not been well, and literally she came online because we talk on Zoom all the time. We live a lot of miles apart, and I sensed straight away that she wasn't herself, but she was trying to push, and I said, "Stop now, just stop." And I think that, and having that joint understanding of each other's designs and how we show up, and how when we need to stop, we stop, and embrace that, then that gets rid of a lot of the guilt that you would feel normally.
Yeah.
You know, I've got to be at my desk because what, right? Why?
Yeah. But I also love, you know, in your embodiment journey, one of the things that I hear you say a lot and talk about a lot, which I love for you, is threw that hot potato right back. Not the hot
God,
potato.
I'm loving that. Yeah. And I think that's again the 5 thing and the save the day energy. And it's not just us as a 4 piece here, it goes wider, and the wider family. It's all Jules will sort it. And I'm going, oh, no thanks. I've got that. And almost like, or I'll go, yeah, leave it with me. No. What? Again, feel into it. Do I really want to do this? No, I would rather boil my head, have the hot potato back. I've not touched it like that. It's 20-second rule. Because, and I think I used to teach this as well as part of my, you know, like time management and delegation stuff in business, is almost like practicing the pause and going, can you do this for me? And going, because you don't just have to say no. You can say, let me think about that. When do you need that for? And by the time you've said that, they've buggered off and found someone else.
The practice in the pause, though, is so good for you because your authority is emotional.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your journey with that piece?
So the emotional stuff, again, that's been another eye-opener, because because I've got a defined sacral as well, obviously. I'm an MG. So I do have that, whoa, yep, excited, going to do that. And actually, my husband has also got emotional authority, and we are so impulsive, or have been. It's like when we bought this house 20 years ago, we came up from down south, looked at it and go, yeah, we'll have that, thanks. That was it. Like there's never any real thought about it. Touch wood, that's not been a bad decision. But there have been times where we've made decisions in the moment. And when we look back, they weren't the best decisions at all. And actually stopping and thinking, and that, again, that's one of the learnings. That's one of the things now we're going, that's a learning. We've got to stop and have that moment. And even with communication, like Claire will ask me something and she'll say, what do you think of this? And I'll go, well, right now my sacral's saying yes, but come back to me tomorrow and I'll ask. And then like at home, I'll have an instant response. Love it, got to come out. But then said, right, well, pause that, because I might feel differently tomorrow. And I'll come back to you on it. So that's all new. And then explaining that to the family, that I'm giving you my initial response, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the last response. It means that there's less aggro.
And it also gives you that way to move the energy, that energy of, okay, I'm in the informing part, but I'm not deciding. Like, let me be clear. I'm
not deciding, and I don't need to decide, and I don't need to be pushed to decide. Thank you very much. I'll come back to you.
How has that changed? So when you've had that pause and you've really allowed yourself to ride the emotional wave, how has that changed the decisions that you've made? I was going to say something else, but I didn't want to put words in your mouth.
Okay, so here's the challenge, right? The honest challenge. In that 24 hours or in that space, the head gets involved. The head does get involved, and I have got a defined head center. So I suppose it's energetically correct for my head to be involved at some level, but then linking it back to how it feels.
And I would say, no, your head doesn't need to get involved.
No, again, but automatically, and this is the challenge to start with, your head's going, yeah, but if you said yes to that, and then you go, right, no.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying about the journey of stepping into your design. It takes practice, and it takes for you to be kind to yourself with it. I think, because to start with, you're changing your whole way of interacting with life from everything that you've been taught. Think it through. Right, I'm thinking it through, but actually still feels rubbish. And again, having that body connection. So at first, we've got that learning curve to go through.
Yeah.
than truly stepping into it. I feel like it takes work. So again, whatever the head's saying, ignore. What does the body feel? And that's
I think this is the biggest part of deconditioning ultimately, is that we're also used to being in our head, and we have this kind of safety and security from being in that space. But when we're bringing the energy down, like, it doesn't need to be here, it gets to be in the body that makes the decision. And it does, like you said, it absolutely takes practice over and over and over again, because we don't even know we're doing it sometimes. And when people come to me and say, like, my sacral says this because blah, 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 I'm like, that's not your sacral. That's your head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's having that whole process. And this is why I think the embodiment process is vital.
100%.
It's vital. And it takes time, right? Mm-hmm. It takes time. So obviously we've got was it 9-month process? So a month for each different center. And I'm about to start that again. I'm going to go back again and do that because I was in the one and really doing the learning. I don't feel like I gave that time justice. And although I'm doing it anyway, I want to do it supported by the, I want to say juices, but they're not called juices, are they?
Hold on. I can do my QVC moment. The essences here.
So I've got the root here. Thank you very much. So, yeah, the essences. So obviously I use oils as well, but obviously these essences are great. So I'm going to do the whole program again, but it's not something to rush through. It's not something that you go, okay, I've done the root center. Thank you. Next. No, this is going to be.
It's also a cycle. It's an evolution. So we go around it and we come back to it over and over again.
And I am gate 42, love.
Pardon?
And I am gate 42.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all about the cycles.
All about the cycles. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
So tell me, like, with your understanding of human design now, you have integrated this into your work. So do you want to tell us a little bit about that part as well? We're going to do a whole other masterclass about this.
So I used to be sick, right? I had a condition called fibromyalgia for the best part of 12 years, and I lived on opiate pain medication. That led me to here where I am today, which was I'm no longer classed as disabled, and I'm very passionate that every single person knows that they have a choice. Yeah. So for me, all of the different modalities that I've learned on my one journey of rebuilding my life and getting all the qualifications and ticking all the boxes, the human design for me, I thought every time I found something, I go, yes, that's the nugget. And actually, that's the cherry on the cake. And what I found with the human design piece is that the human design for me and the work that we now do is the lining paper of the cake tin for everything else to be built on. So for me, it's absolute fundamental foundation. And like, as you've taught us, there are hundreds and millions of human design readers out there. And we're not here to read. We're here to facilitate change in this world. And from my point of view, I am here to embody the human design and add it to the work that we're doing as the foundation piece of something called the Life Freedom Method, which is clinically proven through pilot clinical trials to take people from point A to point B. And in the clinical trial, it was from disabled to not disabled. Mm-hmm. So human design for us and the Life Freedom Method comes from through the lens of the 8 pillars of holistic well-being. So whilst Shari teaches like the business side, for us it's about the different pillars of well-being. And again, understanding the foundational piece, peeling back the onions, going back to the sovereignty, and then understanding the journey and understanding why you're sick or understanding why life isn't as you expect it to be. Because well-being hits us in lots of different ways. Yeah. And we believe that business performance, your performance starts here with your body and what's inside. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, that's how we use it. And it's such a powerful, powerful tool. Yeah. Yeah. I'm so grateful for it.
It's so gorgeous. And seeing what you're doing in the world and the change that you're facilitating is just so humbling and beautiful and mind-blowing, like all of the things. It's so gorgeous to watch what you're doing and how potent that work is, how powerful it is. And I think that if we can understand, like, how are we personally designed to be in wellness, then the world changes, right?
Absolutely. And the part that was really helpful within the clinical trial piece with the human design is the purpose element, because it has been clinically proven that if you are living a life of purpose, then your well-being, your overall well-being improves by 20%.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's massive.
Yeah.
Right. And imagine, and we're talking to universities about it, imagine the kids now that are lost, that don't know what they want. And it's okay, but if we can give them some direction and make them realize that actually we don't fit in boxes, we don't need a lid on, that there's going to be so many more people that are able to live the life of purpose, and therefore they will be healthier. They will have holistic well-being as part and parcel of their everyday life. And we're just really passionate about that.
Yeah.
Really, really passionate about it.
So gorgeous. I love it. If you had one final thing to say to anyone who is new to their human design journey, what would you share with them?
What would I share with them? I would share with them, if you really want something more from your life, then go deeper. Then go deeper and choose the right person to lead you on that journey, that it's coming from a really empowered way. So be really clear about what it is you're looking for. That's what I'd say. And don't just accept the top level, like, I'm a generator and right. So just go and really learn it with the right person and embody it. Embody it. The way that I said to our beta group at the moment, it's almost like the safe, like when you turn in the safe and the combination. Don't expect all of the magic without getting the right cogs lined up first. It's not going to work. So that's what I would say. Gorgeous.
And any words of wisdom to any MGs who are listening?
Go and do it all. If you can. As long as it lights you up. And if it doesn't light you up, then just say no. Like Zamo said, just say no.
No is a full sentence. Okay. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing, Jules. I appreciate your wisdom and love your vibes, and I love you. And I'm so grateful that you could come and share today. Thank you, lovely.
Love you too, babes.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.